Thank you for being part of what was the best Clio Cloud Conference ever. We had the most attendees, 700 attendees attending over the last few days, and it's been also the most worldwide attendance we've seen this year, not just from the live stream, but in the room here. We have attendees that have flown from India, Portugal, the United Kingdom, Colombia, Spain, France, Switzerland, Norway, the Netherlands, even Canada. So we've had, this is a worldwide conference. We're certainly, majority in the room from the United States, but amazing to see the fact that this conference is now drawing a worldwide audience. Once again, I want to emphasize the fact that this conference would not be possible without the support of our sponsors. Once again, and please hold your applause, I want to acknowledge all of our sponsors which financially supported the amazing 2 days that we put on for you, the amazing food, the amazing entertainment. Thank you again to Vonage, Lexicata, LawPay, CloudMask, as well as all of our bronze and silver sponsors and all of the media partners that have helped spread the word about ClioCon and will help make next year's ClioCon even bigger and better than this year's. Give these guys a huge round of applause. Thank you. So it's been an amazing couple of days for us. I think the response to the legal trends report, both in the opening keynote as well as George Harris's follow-on talk, was just tremendous. We've seen now kind of the ripple of that announcement spread out over the blogosphere and the Twitter sphere. And I think it's not an exaggeration to call the introduction of this report as a landmark moment in the legal industry. And the full report is going to be coming out on October 17th. And everyone in this room will receive that report 1 week in advance. So stay tuned, watch your inbox. If it's in the spam folder, dig it out. It's going to be valuable for you when we email you in 3 weeks. We've seen unbelievable engagement with the conference. Over the course of the last few days, or the last couple days rather, the amount of traffic on hashtag ClioCloud9 was insane. We once again trended on Twitter. We saw something on the order of 4,300 posts on Twitter and a worldwide reach to more than 1.2 million users and made 16 million impressions on their timelines, which is pretty unbelievable. The Cloud Conference app, I was blown away with how much activity we saw on this app. I think we basically crashed the servers of the Double Dutch, the providers that deliver this app to us. We saw 2,800 updates, 25,000 likes, and 1,100 comments over the course of the conference, so just insane engagement on the conference app. So thank you, everyone, for engaging and making this, part of the buzz that's at the conference is not just the buzz you feel in the room, it's the buzz you literally feel in your pocket every 3 seconds as updates are coming through the app. So some of you are asking, what about next year? And we've gotten a lot of questions about next year because you look around this room and say, Jack, if you want to keep growing this conference year over year, it feels like this room's pretty much maxed out. And you're exactly right. We sold out this conference, and we want to keep growing. We want to be at 800-900 attendees next year. And to do that, we need to move the conference. And so we did a poll of our entire customer base and past attendees of the conference and asked where you'd like to see the Clio Cloud Conference next year. I want to hear, what are some guesses around where we're going next year? Boston, Austin, Texas? Vancouver? Las Vegas? Austin? I've heard a couple Austins. Chicago again? It's a bigger hotel. Here's where we're all going next year, guys. New Orleans. And I couldn't think of a better city, amazing food city, amazing entertainment city, just a beautiful place to go. We're going to have a smashing time in New Orleans. And the conference dates, September 25th and 26th next year. I also want to highlight a few things that we've done over the last couple of days and some of the feedback we've gotten from people at the conference. First of all, the response to Clio Apollo was phenomenal. We got so many of you up in the Clio lab walked you through the interface, walked you through what we're thinking, and just heard unanimously positive things about what we're building with Clio Apollo. So thank you for all the feedback. We're going in the right direction. The main feedback we got, I heard from our design and product management team was, how soon can we get this? So that's great feedback to get. The mobile app I know is hard to kind of understand when I'm just showing screenshots of what it looks like. You're gonna need to feel a mobile app and feel how it works. So when we released the mobile app yesterday in the morning, a bunch of you installed it, and the feedback we got over the course of the next 2 days is just phenomenal. You guys love the new mobile app, and thanks so much for installing it and continuing to give us feedback. Let's hear, who likes the new mobile app? Who's installed it and loving it? Okay, good. Also, in what's become a little bit of a tradition, as soon as the conference started and we started getting people up at the Clio Smart Bar, as well as the Clio Lab, we put our entire engineering team back in Vancouver on standby and said, we're going to be hearing some feedback about what we should be doing with the app. We're going to hear about bugs that are irritating people. We're going to hear about features that they'd like to see tweaked or enhanced. And we set up a red phone between the Clio Lab and that engineering team. And as soon as we started getting that feedback, we started telling the engineering team, start working on stuff you think you can knock off in the next 48 hours. They ordered pizza, probably a little bit of beer, worked around the clock, and shipped a bunch of stuff to help make Clio even better than it was in the past. So what did we do? What did we get up to? We shipped 17 bugs. No, we fixed 17 bugs. And we polished 4 features, and I hope we introduced 0 bugs. So here's a few of the things we did. I'm not going to enumerate everything, but one of the things we did is we added the ability to filter by originating attorney to the billable clients page. So this was asked for by Margaret Sollers, and you now have a new drop-down available in the web app to filter by originating attorney. And this is Barbara, or Margaret rather, finding out that we shipped this and giving us a big thumbs up. Another report that we tweaked is add the same filter, originating attorney, to the work in progress report. So again, Margaret asked for a filter to be able to filter originating attorney in the work in progress report, and you're now able to select the originating attorney to filter the work in progress report. So new reporting option, one of those death by 1,000 cuts things that's not a huge new feature, but something that just makes Clio a little bit better. Here's another win, task details and email notifications. So we didn't have the name and description in the email description. Thank you, yep. So here you go. The email notification that we send you when a task has been completed now has additional detail added to it. We told Alexander that we shipped this, and he gave us some really great feedback. Shared calendar name truncation. So right now, or previous to today, we had a problem where if you had calendars shared with you, we kind of truncated the name of the calendar if it was a little bit on the long side, way earlier than we had to. So we've tweaked that, and you can see that we've got more complete calendar details in the calendar page as well. And in addition to all of these fixes, we've fixed, I'll let you read through these, but a bunch of other tweaks and kind of polish-related items that, again, just make Clio a little bit better than it was before. So this is our effort to just put a little bit of sheen on Clio, take the feedback you give us at the conference to just prove to you that we are listening and we are iterating on the product rapidly based on your feedback. I also want, on that note, the team just did insane work back at home, and so many of you over the course of the last 2 days have approached me and talked about the fact that your interactions with our team here are just so tremendous, and I've been asked, what do you do to create the culture that's at ClioJack? Like, the people there are so amazing. What do you do? And it doesn't matter who you talk with on the Clio team. It feels like there's this consistency and kind of a very common thread running across the team in terms of their vibe. And something I've never talked about over the course of the last 4 ClioCons is Clio's culture and some of the things we do to create the team and the environment and the vibe that you feel at the conference. And that could be an entire presentation on its own, but one of the things I want to summarize for you guys in the closing remarks here is a bit of an overview of what our value system is. And when we started growing, and I talked about our explosive growth story in the opening keynote, when we hit around 50 people in the company, we realized that we needed to codify these kind of implicit values in the company if we're going to continue scaling at that rate, and we wanted to keep the vibe of the company the same. We needed to write down our values. And prior to that point, we had no codified values. We had no employee handbook. Our employee handbook back then, as well as our employee handbook today, is one sentence, which is use your best judgment at all times. I'm not joking about that, by the way. There's no employee handbook, but we do have values. And the way we came at the values, and we think if you do a good job of the values, everything else is obvious. Everything else is easy because these are your North Stars to guide your decisions. And we got all of our employees in a room and asked them, not all of our employees, a subset of our employees, to put up their hands saying, I want to participate in this project, to get them in a room and articulate back to me and Ryan what they felt Clio's values were. And here's what they came back with. And these are, like I said, the North Star for us when we make decisions. These are easy ways for anyone in the company to trump conversations. If we're going down a rabbit hole, you look back at these values, and they should tell you exactly what you need to do. So what are Clio's values? First of all, customer success comes first. Customers are first for us in every decision that we make. We're always putting our customers' interests ahead of our own. And this value boils down to a few detailed specifics, like know the customer and know the product. There's no exceptions. We build amazing products that make our customers happy and successful. We earn the love and trust of our customers and never take them for granted. And we're humbly Canadian, but we're also damn proud of it. Our next value is thrive as Team Clio. We win together and we lose together as one team. We put the team's needs before our needs. There's no egos. We respect each other in the company and strive to always do the right thing. And we balance with what we give with what we take. The third value is draw the fucking owl. And I'll explain this because it's not immediately obvious what I'm talking about here. There's an internet meme that went around probably 7 or 8 years ago. And it was a funny drawing. And it was like the old, how to draw books that you had when you were a kid. And it gave instructions on how to draw an owl. Step 1 was draw a small circle for the head and a second big circle for the body. The second part of that illustration was this beautifully realized owl with intricate plumage, and it was just perfect. And the instructions for step 2 were draw the fucking owl. So this embodies for us, which is one of the key traits of a Cleon, which is you don't need to be micromanaged. We can give you a big mandate with not a lot of detail. We give you literally the broad strokes, maybe the head and the body, and you need to go figure out how to do it. If you're the kind of person who thrives in a micromanagement culture, there are companies that will do a great job of micromanaging you. Clio's not one of them. We also had an interesting debate around whether we should swear in our values, and we also decided that if you're not slightly profane, you will not fit in at Clio. So anyone offended by this value will self-select out. So we are aligned to common goals and empowered to make things happen. We seek solutions when we find problems. We ask questions when we don't have answers, and we go above and beyond always. This is what Draw the Fucking Owl is about. We're also big believers in continuous learning. We think you start in Clio in one form, and we will work like hell to get you better at everything you do. But we need you to be able to learn quickly to do that. So we're curious, and we're always striving to improve ourselves. We're not afraid to fail. We embrace failure. If you don't embrace failure, you'll never experiment and you'll never have big wins. We give each other real-time, honest, and actionable feedback. And likewise, we're also open to receiving feedback in order to grow. And we talk about this concept of the company of radical candor. If somebody has screwed up, you talk to them like they're your best friend, and you give them constructive feedback that might be hard to hear, but it's so important for the person to hear if they're going to improve. We're also huge believers in transparency at the company. Almost everything at the company is transparent. We talk about our revenues, our expenses, our revenue goals very transparently in weekly meetings with the company. There's no secrets at Clio. We're open and accessible. We're free to be ourselves and to be genuine with each other. Clio's culture is enriched through diversity. We're encouraged to say what's on our mind and ask questions, and we communicate open, broadly, and frequently. And we also are a big fan of this work hard, play hard kind of concept. Staying fit and having fun is really important to us. We have all sorts of amazing programming in the company. One of my favorite stories about our office is we took over some space from IBM, who had a huge server closet, like 6,000 square foot server closet with racks and racks of servers that ran actually Air Canada's reservation system. When we took over the space, we were asked, do you need all these server racks, and how much IT hardware do you guys have? And we kind of laughed and we said, we eat our own dog food. Everything's in the cloud. We don't have a single server. Tear all this out. And we installed a yoga room, which I think is a very Vancouver thing to do. And we bring in yoga programming for our staff every single week. We have a weekly lunch where we all eat together at a communal table. So we really try to nurture this concept that you need to be able to let your hair down and relax and take advantage of some of these benefits to be fully productive at work. And finally, we encourage relaxation and kicking back a little bit, but we also expect a high level of performance from our staff. We love deadlines. We live deadlines. We don't punch clocks. We're measured by contributions we make. We don't measure how many hours somebody is sitting in their seat. We support each other to get things done fast and more efficiently. We do not view quality and velocity as opposing ideals. And we embrace change. We know the only thing that is constant and sure is change. And Gary talked about that in his keynote as well. So I hope talking about these values and kind of hopefully what you see in every single person you dealt with at Clio over the last 2 days shows how important these values are to us, because we actually use them as hiring criteria. When we're deciding if somebody comes on the team, we ask them questions that help us assess whether they're a fit with this culture. On that note, who dealt with the Clio team and had an interaction that felt like it was amazing, like they were a really good team? Thank you, yeah. This team makes me very proud every ClioCon. So another part of the closing remarks here is rewarding the winner of our Clio Day contest. And one of the things I talked about in the opening keynote was this concept of our mission statement, which is transforming the practice of law for good. And one of the ways we want to transform the practice of law for good is in making lawyers happier. Law, as all of you know, is one of the most depressed professions, one of the professions that is most affected by substance abuse, high suicide rate, and we think that at least some part of that is using really shitty software. So what we want to do is make Clio the best product possible and help get you back your time and put you in control of your life. And what we did to kind of prove out this point that people that use Clio get their time back is we ran a survey of our customer base about 3 years ago, and we actually did another checkpoint survey a year ago and found basically the same conclusion. And what we found was the average Clio customer saves over 8 hours per week over the previous solution they were using to whatever they use Clio. So that might be pen and paper, that might be amicus attorney, whatever you're using before you adopted Clio, you switch to Clio and you get 8 hours per week back, which we thought, that's an entire workday of time. At least an easy workday of time, but an entire workday of time that we've given back to our customers. And we started profiling these stories of what people do with that time. And one of the things I thought was really, when I was looking at the marketing that was out there for other legal software companies, I think one of the things that struck me as really kind of soulless was some of the taglines, which were like, "Bill more, go home early," was one of the taglines of one of our competitors. And I thought, is that what lawyers are actually looking for, is just to bill more and then go home early? Like you're looking to actually improve your life. You're looking to spend more time with your family. You're looking to, spend more time reading to your kids, maybe, seeing your mom, maybe just kicking back and going on a great vacation. So this Clio Day concept is something we introduced, a few years ago, and we just ran another contest leading up to this conference, but we framed the challenge in a little bit different way. It wasn't just tell us how you're using your Clio Day to reconnect with your kids or improve your quality of life, but also tell us how you're using your Clio Day maybe to build your business, to scale your business. Maybe you're talking about using the Clio Day to deliver better service to your clients. And the winner of our Clio Day contest, I'll queue up the video for her right now. So sit back for a couple minutes and enjoy this video.
I was on maternity leave with my second. We came up with the name, which hilariously and ironically now means to grow and to flourish. And you know, on leave, sort of in between working cases and rocking a baby here and typing here and having the phone here, got our name registered and found Clio and just sort of did it. We didn't have a plan. We didn't know what to expect.
I look back on my path, it looks like it all perfectly aligned, but it wasn't like that.
We just said, let's just see what happens. I'm doing it now, you're doing it now, and we're doing it for other firms. Let's do it for ourselves. We're between 40 and 50 full-time employees right now. When we first started, we sought out Clio and used Clio exclusively for its billing purposes. We have, with the growth of the firm, have expanded the reasons and the uses of Clio. We now have over 500 active matters. We have over 20 attorneys assigned to those cases. We're practicing in 37 states, and to be able to pull up on a report and see we have this many cases open, this many in state A, this many in state B. We sort of joke all the time about, you know, how did we do this before we had these reports? Like, how were we possibly managing what we were managing without the reports that actually give us the black and white objective data? Everybody right now who's working for us at this very moment in time, I can almost guarantee has Clio open on their computer in the background. One of Clio's unique features, and it's not really a feature, but it's something that we wouldn't have learned if we hadn't gone on this journey, is it worked for us when we were 2 people, and it's working for us at over 40. We anticipated our need at that point, but not that we would double in 3 months. And so it's something that no matter how big we seem to grow, it works, and it's sort of just growing with us.
So that is sadly the end of the Clio Cloud Conference. If you get home tomorrow and miss the energy here and feel kind of lonely, you can go back on Twitter, look for hashtag ClioCloud9 and kind of relive some of the memories here. I want to conclude, you know, by I've thanked our sponsors. There's 2 other people I want to thank. I want to thank all of you, because you are what makes this conference. When people talk about this conference being amazing and having a great buzz and being a great place to talk with other people that are forward-looking about legal and ready to embrace new technology and improve the purpose of the practice of law, it's you guys that make that happen. So please give yourselves a huge round of applause for making this conference a big success, and a thank you from me for being part of it. And the last group of people I'd like to thank are the Clio team. So I would love for all of you to join me in saying thank you to the amazing Clio team for putting on this conference.
No, I'm